All right, welcome everyone. We all welcome you to the 30-day challenge. So this 30-day challenge which we have got is very unique. The challenge is to feel happy. And what that means, this challenge is making us feel happy for the day which we are looking at. Let's think about energy. We talk about energy is there in the universe, and today we're going to talk about scientifically what does that really means, and does that have any reality attached to it. That's what the daily divine wisdom is for today. So let's take a look at it from our perspective. When we are looking at it, when we have this mind which is given to us, when we use this mind, and let's talk about the mind is being given. Now if you can think about it, at any given time you may have lot of things happening. Let's say there is an accident which takes place, or life, somebody says something to us. Now when somebody says something to us, they said something that is something called as data. When we work on that data and when we clean that data, then it is resolved. So how is it really done? That's what we're going to discuss today. Scientifically, what's really happening behind the scene. So what does that really mean? It means that it is up to us. The same situation is happening. Someone is looking at that data and say, okay, this is just data, ignore it. And they always think in the positive direction. Now scientists did that same thing. We're talking about science had the same problem, where either we are using negative thoughts or positive thoughts for the same situation which happened. Somebody says something to us, or there is somebody driving faster. So what happens if somebody drives faster? It is up to us. What we perceive out of it is up to us. Now let's talk about it. How does that have to do with our wisdom? When we are trying to use our wisdom, what does that has to do with the wisdom? It always have to do with the fact that either we are vibrating at a frequency of love or happiness or joy, or we are vibrating at a frequency of anger. Now let's try to understand this little bit better, what scientists are talking about. And we're going to discuss something called as your thoughts affect reality. Now this is an observer effect from quantum physics perspective. So let me put that on.
Quantum weirdness, the infamous double slit experiment. To understand this experiment, we first need to see how particles, or little balls of matter, act. If we randomly shoot a small object, say a marble, at the screen, we see a pattern on the back wall where they went through the slit and hit. Now, if we add a second slit, we would expect to see a second band duplicated to the right. Now, let's look at waves. The waves hit the slit and radiate out, striking the back wall with the most intensity directly in line with the slit. The line of brightness on the back screen shows that intensity. This is similar to the line the marbles make. But when we add the second slit, something different happens. If the top of one wave meets the bottom of another wave, they cancel each other out. So now there is an interference pattern on the back wall. Places where the two tops meet are the highest intensity, the bright lines.
Now that means that the wave, in this case, the wave of the water is behaving different as a particle. So if we need to find out this atom or the electron is a wave or a particle, we can see that they are two different things at this time. Because when we observe this, we are observing it from the different perspective. But let's take a look at how it works from the observer.
And where they cancel, there is nothing. So, when we throw things, that is, matter, through two slits, we get this, two bands of hits. And with waves, we get an interference pattern of many bands. Good so far. Now, let's go quantum. An electron is a tiny, tiny bit of matter, like a tiny marble. Let's fire a stream through one slit. It behaves just like the marble, a single band. So, if we shoot these tiny bits through two slits, we should get, like the marbles, two bands. What? An interference pattern. We fired electrons, tiny bits of matter through. But we get a pattern like waves.
Now, what's really happening is the same situation is happening. Somebody says something bad to us. Because they said something bad to us, what's really happening right away is that some data is there. Based on the past experience of the data, we observed and said that this is the bad thing which happened, or this is the good thing which happened. But depending upon the situation, the thought of the observer, the way we are trying to use it, we got same pattern as a wave instead of only two things the electron is saying. So what does that has to do with us? Let's talk about that for a second.
Not like little marbles. How? How could pieces of matter create an interference pattern like a wave? It doesn't make sense. But physicists are clever. They thought, maybe those little balls are bouncing off each other and creating that pattern. So, they decide to shoot electrons through one at a time. There is no way they could interfere with each other. But after an hour of this, the same interference pattern is seen to emerge. The conclusion is inescapable. The single electron leaves as a particle, becomes a wave of potentials, goes through both slits, and interferes with itself to hit the wall like a particle. But mathematically, it's even stranger. It goes through both slits, and it goes through neither. And it goes through just one, and it goes through just the other. All of these possibilities are in superposition with each other. But physicists were completely baffled by this. So they decided to peek and see which slit it actually goes through. They put a measuring device by one slit to see which one it went through and let it fly. But the quantum world is far more mysterious than they could have imagined. When they observed, the electron went back to behaving like a little marble. It produced a pattern of two bands, not an interference pattern of many. The very act of measuring or observing which slit it went through meant it only went through one, not both. The electron decided to act differently, as though it was aware it was being watched. And it was here that physicists stepped forever into the strange, never world of quantum events. What is matter? Marbles or waves? And waves of what? And what does an observer have to do with any of this?
Now, this is the very interesting way of looking at it. If we look at the same situation which is happening right now within us, that same situation which is happening, it can be someone with that same situation is saying that, hey, I'm in the anger. Why this happened? This is the way it worked. The other person looking at the same situation, they are thinking differently. Now that is what we need to think about it. So that's where the perspective always comes in play. How do we make sure that we pick the right thing for us? That's what the real perspective is when we are kind of working for us. So what does that really means? It means that we are responsible for creating the observing effect for anything which is happening. And Dr. Bhardwaj is here. He's going to talk more on this subject. Dr. Bhardwaj, please go ahead.
Well, that's wonderful. Here, as particle and wave theory explains you that particle behaves intelligently. Now, I have to say here that this is what science proved, that this particle of light behaves intelligently and it can become wave or a particle anytime, anywhere. And at the same time, particle divides itself into two while passing through a double slit. Now, this is what proves that creation is an intelligent design, and this particular particle is behaving intelligently. So there got to be an intelligent being who's doing it all, and we as souls are that creative intelligence that can behave the way it wants. So we got to understand that how this intelligent being is working in all of us. So we have to ensure ourselves that we are that light and sound. And if we are that light and sound, we are part of the absolute, because this light of yours is connected through the sound to its source. So this experiment proves that this intelligent being is working in you, and how it had acquired the mind and created the body, and from a single cell it had graduated to the crown of creation, the human body. Now look how it had created each single cell in the mother's womb, and how it has developed itself. That particle, like a soul, as I was explaining, that it has acquired the mind and created the body. If you remember this, that you are that divine, and that divine is working here in us, and it is running the whole system 24/7 and intelligently. How intelligently it is digesting your food, how your breathing is going on, and how blood flow is going on. Everything is happening, and this is happening 24/7. Your body sometimes sleeping, your mind is dreaming, or uh, in a state, where it is sleeping at the same time. So in enlightenment and to be happy, this is the key to understand that we are that divine, and that divine never dies. It runs the whole cosmos. It cannot be burned. It cannot drown. It is permanent and permanently connected to its source. Since this mind and body together create emotions, and emotions create terrorists out of us. Because mind deals with lust, anger, ego, attachment, deceit, fears, and worries. It pre-calculates the future, because this mind is really making us horrible. We got to understand this part. In the earlier talk also, Rohit explained that we say that we must learn how to ignore this ignorant mind, be happier, because mind will create emotions. And how to come out of those emotions? Because you are permanent, you are not this mind. And mind is only information, my dear. And the body is material. Now your wisdom is this attention, which is the outer expression of your soul. So please understand this, and let us help you in this challenge to be happier in these 30 days, to know that what you are. And you can manage, because soul has got that beautiful ability. We call it as let us face as it comes. So I have added that word, let go and rejoice. What comes with me? What may happen in this world? The soul can always remain in that bliss which it is part of. As soon as we start looking through the lens of the mind, then all those things start bothering us. And mind is a limited time here. If we can make the mind understand that, oh mind, I've got something within me, my soul, my creative intelligence, which has got all the solutions of life. Whereas mind is only giving you problems. And solutions are there with you, that you have got that facility and those attributes are there. Let us face as it comes. So I think I've tried to explain this double slit experiment, that you are that and you are that intelligent being. Please believe in this, because science has proved this. Earlier, this knowledge was not there. Science got peppered that how this particle is behaving. And they did it time and again, and to find the same result. So this is what I would like to say today. I hope, let Rohit take over and explain few things from today's experiment of double slit.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhardwaj ji. So, as we discussed today, like this is a very interesting topic which Bhardwaj ji has said. Like, hey, this is the intelligent design, but intelligent design is there, but there is always a knowledge attached to it. When the child is started to study, like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, they're learning addition. We learn 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. This is the knowledge which we gain. When we gain this knowledge, what is the next step towards it? When we go to the world and somebody asks us 2 plus 5 is equal to 5, we give that answer. We do not give 9 as the answer. And that is what the perspective is. When we use this same knowledge which is given to us, when we apply that knowledge, now, ignore the ignorant mind really means applying the knowledge. It does not mean you ignore what is happening, is that, oh, I ignore the mind which is coming in. But really speaking, the knowledge is being given by Google, by the guru, or by somebody. Scientist is giving this knowledge. Scientists are saying that the observer is changing the behavior. Now, this is what happens when we start observing our thoughts. What thoughts we are having in the morning, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., what thoughts are coming in? Is it possible at 10 a.m. we put an alarm? In that alarm, we say that have a happy dance thought. We can do that. That's the knowledge. When we apply, and when that 10 a.m. comes and then we apply that, now what happened? We actually applied that formula for us. And this is the most important thing we need to understand. So let's understand, let's think about any struggle we have in our life. Any struggle we have in our life, let's take a look at that. And then say that, hey, put a hand. And then we say that I take 100% responsibility for the way I'm feeling about that situation. Just like an observer, scientists are observing and they changed a wave to a particle. Can we change our perception about the same situation? Whatever is happening for the best, for our good. Now, what can we do to dissolve that? We talked about it in Ho'oponopono. We said that I'm sorry for this situation. Please forgive me for this situation. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. When we say this with deep breaths, what we are doing practically, we are taking the responsibility for whatever is happening in our life. When we start saying, I'm sorry because this is what I learned from this. Hey, I'm sorry, I'm judging this person is driving fast. Because this person is driving fast, I'm judging that person. I'm sorry that I'm judging this person because I am also frustrated. Because of it, I'm driving also fast because of him. Oh, please forgive me because I judge this person. And what do I need to do to not judge this person? Think about that. And thank you for making me realize not to judge this person. And I love you. And we realize that, please forgive me, we don't know. Really, he might be going to the hospital. He might be going to some place. He has a script. He has his own observation on the same situation which he is going through. So that way, if we do that, we dissolve the perspective which comes in with our family. family comes in, because they have their own perspective going on, now every time we comes in, we start giving this embracing. The embracing is double split experiment. That means when we start observing the thoughts, when we start observing the thought, instead of splitting, they became, the thought came through the same place again and again. They behave like a particle. Same thing is true. We can actually channelize the thoughts. That's where some people call it channelize your energies. So when we channelize our thoughts, our energies, then what happens? We let go of the past and we live in the present. And that is where I take 100% responsibility for this situation. I am sorry for creating it. Now, that means the person did something, but we created in our consciousness. We think in that terms. When we do that, we start feeling happy. Now we start feeling in the love for ourselves and that situation. And we do not get into the perspective of judging the other people. Now we have the energy to do what we need to do when we are working on it. So, Bhardaji, would you like to add anything on this?
Well, that's good because I would like to say that this intelligent being is a particle of light, which is really that intelligent being, and it can decide. This is what I would like to call it as wisdom. And wisdom is like an omni scanner. It can see all those thoughts in your mind and then pick up what to work on and what not to work on. This is what gives you that independence, that gives you that power, and this is how you can be happy all the time. And this particular knowledge, this divine knowledge, daily divine wisdom, is really going to help you how to remain happy. And this challenge, which Rohit is trying to help you to achieve, is what will make you happier all the time, 24/7, because you are that. You are not mind, you are not body. You are here to experience this world for a while only. Out of billions of years, you are here less than 100 years, which is just a small little moment. We just pass up. So please don't worry and let us see, whatever slots of our life we had decided earlier in the Council region. We are going through that. And since you have got that ability, that you will decide things, because attention, wherever you want it, it will go there. So wherever the attention goes, the divine energy flows. I think this is what gives you tremendous amount of knowledge, and Rohit is trying to imbibe in your daily program so that you remember this 24/7, that you are that place. And you have got that ability to face things as they come. This is inherent ability in you, my dear. This remains there. You can face it because we have crossed through 8.4 million species, and we have lived and died many times. We know what death is. So we are beyond that, and we are beyond fear, because the quality of the soul is to be fearless. And at the same time, we got to be selfless, not to be selfish, because mind makes us selfish. So I think you are building up like this, and everybody should give their feedback that how this knowledge which Rohit is doing is changing your day-to-day life. This is what will be exciting for us to do. If there is anything, you can always ask. In the chat, you can ask a question, and we can answer that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bhardwaji. Thank you for your time. Anyone has any questions or anything you would like to talk? Wait for a second. Wait. I think we are all in place. Yeah, Visheshji, you have something?
No, no, I'm just here to say thank you for picking up this double split experiment, which goes very well with our cause. And I appreciate Rohit ji and Dr. Chand Bhadwaj, you explaining and making sure that we stick to that divinity that is within us and recognize us to help us be happy every time during the day. Thank you, Rohitji, for emphasizing it after Dr. Chan spoke.
Thank you.
So I have a quick question, Rohit.
Mhm.
Since you like homework so well, what is our homework till tomorrow?
Homework till tomorrow, only one homework. Every hour, put an alarm. Every 2 hours, put an alarm and see that what frequency are we in. So what happens, just like a weed is there and we are growing the water and we are watering the plants, we want to make sure any weed is there. That is where the observer comes in play. So we talked about observer. When the observer came, then we come to know, oh, it acting like a particle. So observer actually changed the situation. When we start observing our thoughts as a knowledge, when we observe there, like, okay, am I vibrating at a happy frequency or a stress frequency? And whenever we see there is a stress frequency is there, at that moment take some rest, and take some time, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes to yourself, and then calm the mind down, and then we start again. The wisdom will start coming in, the knowledge will start flowing in. So that's the homework for us. Bhardaji, you want to add anything to that?
Uh, well, exactly. And this is what we can always do, that we have to understand things in that perspective as you are explaining it. Here you are converting this wisdom into practice. And if you can really watch your things, and that watching your thoughts will change the behavior, because your attitude will immediately make you remember that you are divine. And that is what is daily divine wisdom, that you must know that you are divine. You are not mind, you are not body. To remember this 24/7, he's saying every hour. But I say this will become a habit to know every moment that you are divine. And once you remember this all the time, 24/7, even Simran is given for that only, that you remember it all the time. And once you remember, mind can never make you sad. It will never bring any depressions on you, because you are looking at that with that angle. And you have to see this divinity should flow from your mind, and it should further percolate from your body and through the senses. It should go downwards and outwards into the world as your behavior. So this is what is going to make that change. And I just want to talk a little bit about here that we've been here in an university yesterday. I am in Srinagar, and there was a wonderful session. I had sent some photographs to Rohitji, who can really share with all of you that how we are talking um, to the university, and something wonderful has happened here. Everybody likes the whole concept. We have prepared the whole curriculum for the college. The whole thing is being ready, and the dean of the university was so joyous that we can give this knowledge to the students in the university. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thanks. Bye.